Hello and welcome to Granada Reports, live for the latest across the northwest.
Hello there. On the programme this evening,
the race against time for booster jabs. The government urges those who are eligible to come forward, but there's confusion over how to get them.
I was a little bit confused really, because we didn't have an invitation, although our 6 months was up.
airport bosses tell us they're on the runway to recovery as the half-term getaway begins.
Come and give blood, it's needed.
The drive for more black blood donors who could help thousands of people living with sickle cell disease.
How Liverpool is brightening the dark nights with 12 new art installations and some music.
And they're behind you. Everyone's favourite double act, Ant and Dec, pay a surprise visit to the next generation of TV talent.
Thanks for your company. First tonight, it was the jewel in the crown of the government's coronavirus response. But as rates rise across the region and a winter crisis looms, is the vaccination programme faltering?
Critics say the rollout of the booster has fallen well behind, while many have been left confused over who gets the third jab and when.
Today, the government's launched a campaign to clear up that confusion. Sarah Rogers has tonight's top story.
Despite the grey and wet Blackpool weather, there was a steady stream of residents getting their booster jabs. But there's been confusion after ministers said go ahead and book, but the NHS website said wait to be invited.
It came by chance, and my friend said you just walk in and that's it. So I thought, right, we'll go, get it done with.
Get it done with. I was a little bit confused really, because we didn't have an invitation, although our 6 months was up. Yeah, it's confusing to people.
The government's been slow, as far as I'm concerned, but it's an hard job.
Today, the government launched an ad campaign to try and clear up who's eligible and how to get one.
And if you're over 50 or in an at-risk group, you'll also need a COVID-19 booster.
But there's criticism the third rollout is already behind.
We should be delivering 500,000 booster jabs a day. We're not even at half that. The progress in terms of vaccinating children isn't 1/5 of where it should be.
I don't think we're behind. It's a more complex rollout, no doubt, because of course we've got this 6 months, 1 day to factor in. In the first rollout, everybody just came forward in their age cohorts. It was much simpler.
At this site, they're getting through around 200 people per day. And actually, we've seen quite a lot of walk-ins here today. But we've been told of those eligible, only around 30 to 40% have come forward so far, and health bosses want that figure to be much higher. Because the knock-on as immunity dwindles could mean even more pressure on the NHS.
Hospitals are really quite busy. There is a rising number of COVID patients. We're not being overwhelmed by critically ill COVID patients, but they are rising somewhat, and they're contributing to a massive demand.
In parts of the region with particularly high case numbers, calls for measures to be brought back now. The Director for Public Health in Cheshire East is advising residents to wear masks when indoors with people they don't live with. But in reality, it's down to personal choice.
It's definitely more challenging to try to implement these things purely at the local level when there isn't that national policy to do it. And our focus in Cheshire East is very much on the fact that our local rates are high.
And as we head into half-term, pop-up centres could be populated with school pupils, which will open to 12 to 15-year-olds from tomorrow. But with cases topping 50,000 for the first time since July, ministers are hoping this latest drive will be enough to avoid bringing in tougher measures. Sarah Rogers, ITV News.
Some breaking news now, and a man has been arrested in connection with the Manchester Arena attack. The 24-year-old, who's from Fallowfield, was detained after arriving into Manchester Airport on suspicion of terror offences. Meanwhile, Manchester Airport hope this October half-term getaway will kick-start their recovery.
Yes, they're expecting 400,000 passengers to fly with them next week. That's 4 times as many as this time last year.
The airport's also launched some new international routes and have started advertising for new staff.
Our correspondent, Elaine Wilcox, reports.
Passengers are back after the airport's worst 18 months on record. Still half the numbers pre-pandemic, but airport leaders hope this is just the start. This family booked their holiday less than 24 hours ago.
They wanted the COVID passports to make sure that we're both double jabbed. The kids, they just needed their passenger locator forms. Really easy, really smooth.
Tell me about what you think about going on holiday.
Exciting.
And do you worry about the rise in cases?
It's something that's going to be ongoing now. So we've just got to live with it and accept it and just take our own precautions.
At the height of the pandemic, there were just 1 or 2 flights a day. Now new routes to Barbados are starting from Manchester, and a number of direct connections to the US will be back by Christmas. Just as you're hoping to see more people travelling, we've got an increase in COVID cases. Is that going to scupper this recovery?
We're asking people to wear their face masks. They'll see additional measures. Still looking to safety is our number one priority. But what we've got is we've certainly got the staff to deal with it. And as I say, I've been in since first thing this morning and I've seen a really smooth throw through the airport.
One of our viewers has been in touch to say they had a really long queues in Terminal 1 a week ago, really frustrated.
Yeah, I think that was in the return journey through Border Force on the way home. We never want any of our customers to be held up, and we apologise if that's happened, but it must have been a blip. And what we're doing is we're working with Border Force to make sure that passengers get through just as smoothly as they can.
This is the all-new Terminal 2, which opened in July with little fanfare, and as you can see, it's still very quiet. But the industry are hoping a successful autumn getaway will give people confidence to fly again.
How hard has it been being stuck at home for so long?
Boring and hard.
And Mum, has it been pretty hard for you?
It's been a bit difficult, I'm not going to lie, but we've made the best of it, so we're looking forward to some sun though.
And all the paperwork and the tests, did that put you off?
It was hard work, I'll be honest. It takes the fun out of the holiday, but we're doing it. We're looking forward to it.
We're not jealous at all.
Even passengers flying today are concerned about their own carbon footprint and plan fewer trips.
Yeah, we've had some good fun holidays in the UK.
So you might limit your travel, foreign travel.
We've actually spoken about that and we probably will do.
Manchester Airport's launched a scheme to encourage passengers to offset carbon emissions by donating to woodlands. They're now recruiting more staff in the hope passenger numbers will continue to fly high. Elaine Wilcox, ITV News, Manchester.
Well, next, into the calls for more black people to come forward and give blood.
In England, just 2% of donors are black, and health officials say that needs to change.
It's to help people with conditions like sickle cell disease.
It mainly affects people of African and Caribbean descent and leaves those that live with it in excruciating pain, as Lucille Robbie reports.
Like my bone is being squeezed through a vice.
Chantal was born with sickle cell disease, and it means she's constantly in some level of pain. The condition caused one of her major organs to shut down. She had a kidney transplant in 2015 after experiencing total renal failure.
I had a kidney transplant 5 or 6 years ago. It's just meant a lot of kind of lifestyle choices that I had to change, which was quite difficult growing up with having friends around me or family around me, that they were able to do things that I wasn't able to do.
Sickle cell disease is an inherited blood disorder that causes red blood cells in the body to be an unusual crescent shape. They have a shorter lifespan compared to normal red blood cells. As this illustration shows, their shape means they don't move as smoothly through blood vessels and can actually block them and cause major problems. The condition mainly affects people of African and Caribbean descent. Many sickle cell patients require rare blood subtypes such as RO, which are more common in black people, but not enough ethnic minority people are donating blood.
RO blood is really critical in maintaining good cross-match. Black people, African Caribbean descent, are up to 50% of them have this subgroup, whereas in our white counterparts in our European groups, that's about 2%.
Sickle cell disease is the fastest growing genetic blood disorder in the UK, and according to recent figures in England, less than 2% of donors are black. That's just over 16,000 people. However, NHS blood and transplant need around 40,000 people in order to meet the demand. I'm here at a donor centre in Manchester with Ray Stevens. His son has sickle cell and says this inspires him to give blood regularly.
So you've not got any symptoms on the board?
My son, who is coming up to 19,
is full sickle cell, so I'm sickle cell trait, which you can also give blood if you're sickle cell trait as well. But for me, it's very personal because my son was for many, many years on blood transfusions. So my black people, mixed race, Afro-Caribbean, however you want to identify, come and give blood. It's needed. Yeah.
After 3 decades, a new drug called crizanlizumab is set to be rolled out to 5,000 people over the next 3 years. It's expected to save people with sickle cell from excruciating pain.
Crizanlizumab as terms of a new drug, which is a fantastic breakthrough. However, let's get this into balance. And it's very crucial that, blood is still given, because this is not an absolute cure.
This new drug might be a step in the right direction, but blood donation remains vital.
It takes you a day to literally save somebody's life. So I would say, please do that.
Yeah, what better reason? Next tonight, to the 3 dads walking 300 miles in memory of their daughters who all took their own lives.
Mike Palmer, a firefighter from Greater Manchester, lost his daughter Beth last year.
For the last 2 weeks, he's been walking right across the country, raising more than £350,000.
They are on their final straight now, and earlier he joined us to tell us what the experience has meant to him.
What an epic journey. We started off as 3 dads, going on a walk to raise a bit of an awareness and a few funds for Papyrus. And the things have gone crazy, haven't they? I think suicide, it's not talked about, it's surrounded by stigma. And I think people have really resonated with what we're doing and who we are. We're just 3 bereaved dads.
Mike, what do you think Beth would make of all of this?
It's very hard. I hope she's proud of me. I really do. I miss my little girl so much.
And did you, in your wildest dreams, did you think that this challenge that you're doing would have the impact that it's had on people?
No, I didn't. The response has been absolutely tremendous. But I think it is another example of, I think suicide and mental health issues aren't talked about, and people are affected. So many people are affected.
We hear today that Nicole Kidman has donated £10,000 to your cause. You're nearly at the finish line now. How's it all feeling?
What Nicole's done there is, it's tremendous as well. It gives us a massive boost. It's so generous of her, and to be able to put her name against what we're doing as well, it's another honour.
And since the start of this challenge, you've seen so much, you've spoken to so many people. Have there been any particular highlights for you?
Every person who's spoken to us, openly about how they've been affected by suicide, they've all been a highlight, if you call it that. We're all absolutely, touched and honoured that they'd share their, just bare their hearts to us.
Well, Mike Palmer, we're absolutely certain that Beth will be very proud of you, and lots of other people will be too. Good luck, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Next, the nights might be drawing in, but in Liverpool, they're about to get a whole lot brighter.
Yeah, the city's 4th River of Light Festival gets underway tonight, and it promises to be bigger and better than ever.
Let's speak to our Merseyside correspondent, Andy Bonner. Andy, this time the air will be filled with music too.
Oh yes, and last time the River of Light was held earlier in the year, it was all about celebrating coming out of lockdown. This time it's very much about the relationship between the city and music and sound. You can see here Jacques excellently playing the piano, so much better than I did earlier on. As he's doing so, it's lighting up the atrium here at Man Island. This is basically a big public art exhibition. Let's speak to Harry from the City Council. Harry, tell us about River of Light. I'm sure you can explain it better than I can.
Well, River of Light has become a huge part of our yearly calendar in the city. It's about joy, and it's about actually celebrating what is unique about our city. We had such a great River of Light event back in March, celebrating coming out of lockdown, and it is just that joyous, time for our city and people to celebrate and come and visit.
This time it's about sound. How does that play out in reality here through the city? What will people see? Tell me about the link between sound and the city.
Well, we're obviously a hugely proud city and proud of our musical heritage as well. You know, Beatles, all these big artists, and we are a UNESCO city of music as well. So actually it's about celebrating what we love about music, but also incorporating that with art and culture.
Okay, let's talk about why this is important for people. I mean, what do the people get out of coming here and seeing this? And also, what does the city get out of this?
Well, it's about actually, we've had such an awful time, of course, with COVID and the pandemic, and with the opportunity to actually come and see the lights and come out of their homes and visit the city. Obviously, we want people to come and enjoy themselves and give them a reason to come out and safely come and experience this fantastic event.
We've come outside because this 2-kilometre trail has many installations, lots to see here. We can see a couple of more of them just outside in the dock behind us. Tell me, what's your favourite?
I've got quite a few favourites actually, but I've got to say where we started with the piano is probably one of my favourites, just seeing the music and that visually represented. But there's just so much to come and see. It's raining at the moment, but actually don't let that put you off at all. Come rain or shine, it's a fantastic event for people to see.
Thanks very much, Harry. Come down here if you can. You are sure to be illuminated.
Looks magnificent. Thanks, Andy.
And finally tonight, TV can be a difficult industry to break into, but thankfully the country's favourite double act are on hand to help.
After more than 30 years in the business, Ant and Dec have created a Making It in Media course alongside the Prince's Trust, the first one in the north.
Our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore went along as they surprised some very lucky youngsters in Salford.
I didn't think I'd ever say this to you two. I'm sick of seeing you.
Well, do you know what? Thank you very much.
We keep stalking you.
I was just about to say, it's a pleasure to see you again.
July, we did the I'm a Celebrity Jungle Challenge. Yeah. NTAs, wow. And then now here we are. This is your course, isn't it? Making It in Media with the Prince's Trust.
We are insanely proud. This is our second course. We've done one in London. This one in Manchester is the first one we've done in the north. Honestly, when we saw them 2 weeks ago and set them off on the course, they looked like rabbits in headlights. They all now want to go off and work in the industry.
Honestly, it was the best surprise ever to know that they're actually coming. So fun to know that they'd seen what we'd done.
I have found it extremely insightful that I would be able to make it in this industry.
We know it's not an easy industry to get into, is it?
It's not, and we were lucky. You know, we started off in Byter Grove and we had two different...
I'm so sorry. That's so unprofessional. I'm so sorry.
We cover that on day one of the course.
Do you know what?
That's Tommy Cannon ringing. Tommy Cannon.
What a name drop.
Brilliant.
It's you and Debbie, isn't it? You've had a fight, haven't you?
No. The producers of Byter Grove came round the schools and asked if anybody wanted to get involved. So that was my break, and I grabbed onto it and ran with it. And Dec wrote to...
And he's still holding on.
He's still holding on. He's still clinging in there.
For dear life.
We were just normal kids from normal working class families. There's loads of TV being made here in Manchester.
And if there are any media businesses out there in the Northwest, we want to hear from you, because we're setting up a Get Hired Day for these young people, for real jobs to come into your workforce.
Just go onto their website.
Yes.
And you'll find out all of the details, and hopefully you can employ one of our fabulous young people.
And that's next Wednesday, isn't it?
That is next Wednesday.
I've been passing it around to all my contacts.
Have you?
Come on.
Like Tommy Cannon.
Like
Tommy Cannon, yeah.
That's what he was on the phone
for. Was he? I'm there. I'll be there next Wednesday.
Sorry. I love that. You did mention your new show. Can you tell us a bit more? No?
We can, yeah. It's the world's first limitless jackpot.
As long as you keep adding to your lives, you can stay in the game, and you can just keep winning more and more and more money. So it's really exciting. But
you can't apply.
Oh, okay.
It's too late. We filmed it.
Yeah.
But it starts...
Oh, no, you wouldn't have you.
It starts in the new year on ITV.
And anyway, what are you doing at Christmas? Because we've seen each other every month. So Christmas dinner.
We'll be due a catch-up for Christmas, won't
Really?
we?
What do you eat?
Dinner at
Do you eat meat?
All of it.
Yeah, you like turkey?
Yorkshire
Okay,
pudding.
I'll set a place for you.
Brilliant.
Ant and Dec and their best mate, Caroline.
Oh, no, you forget they were whippersnappers once upon a time, don't you?
Now it's the weather. Here's Kerry.
Now that is brew weather.
And only boiling what she needs.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Big up you, sis.
Hello, very good evening to you. The weekend is just around the corner now. A bit of a mixture across the region today. It was really quite cloudy and damp, especially over the hills first thing. And we did struggle to get the brightness in places, but there's definitely been some sunshine across the region today, more so across the northwest into the afternoon. As we head into the weekend and into next week, which for many, of course, is half term, it's a bit of a messy mixture. What a surprise. Wet and windy spells mixed in with dry and bright conditions with some sunshine. Maybe average temperatures to start the week, but towards midweek it's looking a little bit warmer than average, certainly across the northwest. Little ridge of high pressure keeping things dry tomorrow morning, but then we've got a weather front by the end of the day, and then low pressure to the north does feed in a fairly mixed story from the Atlantic over the coming few days. But by midweek, yes, perhaps temperatures into the high teens, or certainly 17 Celsius across the northwest by midweek on Wednesday. So for the rest of this evening, a mixture, clear spells, some patchy showery outbreaks, more so in the west, and that pretty much sets the scene as we head towards tomorrow morning. Under the clearer spells, though, it's fairly chilly, 4 or 5 Celsius. Fantastic shot by Peter Jones, keep them coming. 7:53 and 5:57 are your sun times as we head into the weekend. So tomorrow, for Cumbria especially and for the Isle of Man, quite showery and quite breezy for much of the day. Elsewhere, a bit of a mixture of patchy cloud, clear spells, mostly dry, and a warmer air mass, so 13 or 14, about the average, so temperatures already creeping up compared to the last couple of days. On Sunday, though, we've got this weather front coming through. It will turn more patchy and showery throughout the day with some late brightness in the west, highs at best again around 13.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
2 sugars, please.
Oh, lovely.
And that's all from Granada Reports this evening.
I'm back with the late news just after news at 10. Hope you can join me, but for now, have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.